Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Football.
And welcome into the Inside Arkansas Football pregame show presented by Bet Saracen here on this beautiful Saturday morning in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your morning. This morning, as we are going to preview Arkansas and Texas, actually, we probably aren't going to do much of that at all because none of you care, and neither do we. But the game is going to get played, and we'll see if Arkansas takes care of business against the Longhorns on the road, which, of course, will be at 2:30 on ABC. We'll get into a lot of coaching search. But, fellas, good morning. How are the vibes here on this Saturday morning?
They're pretty good after what we witnessed at Bud Walton Arena last night. I'll tell you that. I'm still buzzing over Billy Richmond and Malik Ewan, so nothing can ruin my morning. This morning, horns down, tuck fexes, all those things still apply, even though nobody necessarily really cares too much about this actual game.
I'm a short squash Texan. I played the Razorbacks today. No, yeah, I'm feeling good. I still got my prime time at the Palace shirt on. I'm a little bit in basketball mode, but I got to be honest with you. I'm here to argue today. So chat, bring it. We're ready to argue. We're actually here. This is really happening in real time, in real life. This is real life. We are here, and we're ready to talk some ball, man. So whatever you guys want to talk about, if you guys want to talk about Texas's pass rush, if you want to talk about Arch Manning and how he's going to look, we can talk about that. If you want to talk about Matt Campbell, you want to talk about Lane Kiffin, you want to talk about whatever, we're here to talk ball today. Let's do it.
I just love how, so there's times where Andrew's like, the chat's going crazy. People in the chat are doing this. And then this morning he's like, chat, bring it on. I want to just argue with you today. I just want to get after you. It's like, yeah, you got to entice the people, I guess, to see how fired up they get. But listen, if you do want to talk about the Texas game, you're banned. We're going to ban you from the chat. But no, I'm kidding. But still, I mean, let's be honest. This is not anything that's bad as far as people saying, oh, well, I care about the Texas game. That's fine. I mean, I'm not saying everybody has to be that way, but the overwhelming story with football right now, of course, continues to be the coaching search. And yesterday, guys, when I know before the game in Bud Walton Arena, even during the game, there was just madness and chaos because there was some stuff coming out with connections with Matt Campbell. All right, so let's just fire that one off, and then you got more stuff coming out this morning, which I know we'll get into from Pete Nakos of On 3 and all of that stuff. So just like where it stands right now, we'll get into just the overall vibes and maybe some specifics, but where it's at right now from what happened, which again, a lot happened, but nothing happened. But like from last night, is it like, oh, are you guys leaning towards something happened where you're like, oh gosh, this is crazy. This has changed my mind on things? Or like, what's the current status in your mind of the coaching search for Arkansas?
I mean, we're reaching the fever pitch. You know what I mean? Like this is the peak bonkers moments of a coaching search where, you're getting closer and closer. Somebody slipped in there that, it could happen as soon as this weekend, or, you'll have some clarity. And now I know Pete Nakos, he comes in, he pours cold water on everything. He's good at that, where he doesn't list any of the sexy names that were thrown out there yesterday. And he says, well, 7 to 10 days or whatever. So automatically he's an idiot, right? Like we're not going to listen to anything that guy says because we want it now. But no, this is cool, man. And listen, if Arkansas wound up getting Matt Campbell, I'd be over the moon. Like I don't think I could possibly be happier than if that were to happen, or any of the other crazy things that have been out there. That's probably the least crazy of all of them. But the Dillinghams and the Dabos and all that. But I got to tell you, I still stick to what I said yesterday, which is, even if that doesn't happen and this trend's kind of where it realistically feels like it might be, which is one of those guys from the American, an Eric Morris or an Alex Galesh or something like that, I'm going to feel pretty good about Arkansas' situation here. There's a number of things that could happen that could make this go in a bad direction, but I don't think we're going to get there. I think Arkansas is going to wind up with a good football coach.
I think I agree, and I don't think it's going to be Matt Campbell. I'll go ahead and say that. But I do think that I just look at the way that people talk about Arkansas's job opening. And, there's some fans on Twitter who'll be like, yeah, Arkansas sucks. And they're kind of making fun. But right now, I haven't even really seen a ton of national guys like talking about Arkansas as like a bad job or being like, oh yeah, Arkansas is screwed. And, there's all these debates in terms of who they're going to get, who all they've talked to, who all's interested. But I'm kind of with you, Curtis, where I'm like, listen, are they going to end up with a home run? I don't know. But I think there's a lot of avenues to Arkansas getting a competent football coach we'll see which one of those avenues they go down. In terms of the Campbell thing, because I'm sure we're going to talk about it. I'm sure we're going to get asked about it. And, I got a bunch of texts about it last night of like, so is this legit? I go back to the same kind of thing I felt with James Franklin, which is that obviously I know why Arkansas would be interested in James Franklin. And not that I didn't know why James Franklin would be interested in Arkansas. I just felt like for Franklin, that if he was going to, which obviously he gets fired at Penn State, he was going to go somewhere else. I felt like there were other moves that made more sense. And I felt like Virginia Tech, frankly, was one of those moves. And I know we view it through this lens of like, oh, he chose Virginia Tech over Arkansas. That must mean they're better, we're worse, blah, blah, blah. But I think if you just look at it from these coaches' perspectives, why they make certain moves, it does make a lot of sense. And I think about it from the Campbell perspective, and I just can't quite get there with Arkansas where I'm like, oh, yeah, he's been sitting here at Iowa State ready to make the move at the right time, and he's been very loyal, and he's turned down job after job after job. I don't necessarily can't quite get there as to why he would go to Arkansas right now. I would love to be, explained why. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for someone to be like, no, he is, and here's why. I'm all ears. I just can't quite get there yet, but I'm with you still that I think that there's still the Eric Morris route. There's still the Silverfield route. There's still potentially the Galesh route. Who even knows about Summerall? Because I don't know if Summerall is necessarily going to get the Florida or LSU job. Maybe he gets Auburn, but it's like he may end up being a candidate. And so I do think there's plenty of paths for Arkansas getting a pretty good coach. And I can't wait to see how these last, 10 days shake out.
Well, let's just start with what was going on yesterday and dealing with the name Matt Campbell that got thrown around, because I think that was on a lot of people's minds. It was Pete Thamel who went on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday and said that, and this is according on 3, where they wrote the article about it, says that he went on there and suggested an announcement could come at any moment for the Razorback head coaching job. Quote, I would think that one wraps up relatively soon. It appears they're in the final stages now. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some clarity on that one this weekend, which, hey, it is this weekend. So
Sweet.
Maybe we'll get some clarity. He goes on to talk about, some SEO crap, but then he gets into what Yurchek talked about, where he says it wasn't a Razorback performance any of us were proud of at the Notre Dame game. It ultimately falls on the feet of the head coach. Well, you could say it falls on the feet of other people instead. But either way, it says the Razorbacks are now deep into their search. Several names have surfaced as potential options. Among them are Iowa State's Matt Campbell. That's the first one mentioned. It goes into Alex Golish, Eric Morris, Will Stein, John Summerall, names we've thrown around, names we've making the case for. But the newest one seeing there is Matt Campbell. Does it mean that they're zeroing in on him? Does it mean that they've done an official interview with him? It just says that those are potential options, among them being Matt Campbell, and that's what set everybody off. So, again, I don't think it's going to be Matt Campbell, and maybe we could just do a making the case for Matt Campbell today. But when you throw that name in there, when you have Pete Thamel and on 3, I guess it was Nakos ended up writing this stuff. No, it was Steve Samra. But still, when that name gets thrown in on 3, it suddenly gets everybody's neurons hitting. So Matt Campbell now is at least into this list of name. Is he? You said it, Curtis, kind of like you'd really like it to be. I would love it to be Matt Campbell, but if it is Matt Campbell, what level compared to all the other names that we've heard about and been talking about would that rank as far as that goes?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important to distinguish where that name came from, because there was a lot of confusion with that last night. Pete Thamel wasn't reporting that Matt Campbell is a candidate for the Arkansas job. Pete Nakos didn't even include him in the conversation in his story today about the Arkansas coaching search. Credit where it's due. It was our buddy JC, does a great job with basketball. He knows people. And as I understand it, he didn't say, hey, they're hiring Matt Campbell or anything like that. He heard from a source, somebody that he trusts, that, they've been in conversations with him, might be further along than people thought, whatever. And some folks took that and ran with it and maybe turned it into something that it wasn't intended to be. And I've talked to JC about that. So I think it's an important thing to distinguish there. Pete Thamel is not including Matt Campbell as a finalist for the University of Arkansas coaching job. But his name has now been mentioned yesterday, and so everybody's taking that and running with it. Could it wind up being the case? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I think people got confused about that, and it's gone crazy. But at any rate, I would love it if it was Matt Campbell. I'm with Andrew, though. why Arkansas? Because why would Matt Campbell leave Iowa State at this point? Because he's not overly thrilled with the NIL situation and the resources at Iowa State. Like he's been that guy who has always done more with less. So you just want to go to a situation that's worse off than where you're currently at right now and do the exact same thing? I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense there. He's being talked about with NFL jobs, connected with the Giants and some other things, as people have mentioned him for Penn State even. So I don't know how that would work. The way you could get there is if Matt Campbell was given just an unbelievable package that we heard Arkansas might have, that they might have offered to James Franklin or something that just blew his doors off. And if they want to do that, then fantastic. But as far as, him and his candidacy and if it would make sense for Arkansas, of course it would. I think he would be a great hire here. It makes a whole hell of a lot of sense for the Razorbacks. He would kind of check off every single box that you were looking for. He would win consistently. I don't know how high the ceiling is there, but I know it would raise the damn floor quite a bit. I think he's a great coach. I've been excited about the potential. Every coaching search for like the last decade, Matt Campbell's been on my list of guys that I would love to have at Arkansas. So if they were to pull that off, I'd be pumped, man. I'd be over the moon. I'm going to need a little bit more convincing, kind of like Andrew, to get there in terms of the believe in it.
Yeah, in terms of would we be cool with Matt Campbell, that is a very easy conversation for me. I think all three of us would be very on board. I think most people in the fan base who have kept up with college football to any degree. Now, I understand there are probably a lot of you who maybe don't follow college football nationally as close, and so you're doing your Wikipedia search right now, and you're seeing his record, and you're saying, he's barely above 500, and, he goes 7-5 every year. Are y'all sure that's the guy? Like, really? That's him? Trust me, Matt Campbell is a guy that if you just ask 10 people who are in the know in college football, all 10 will be like, that dude is a stud. And what he's done at Iowa State, I feel like is really impressive. And again, the record isn't one that's going to like blow you away on paper. You got to understand the context of Iowa State football that I genuinely, and I'm not even making a joke right now, I don't even know if they had a program 40 years ago. And that's not a joke. That's not me like being like, oh, they did. Like literally, I think their program is one of the younger ones in power conference football. And they were a complete nothing burger. They were a 2-10 perennial dumpster fire before he got there. Now Iowa State is every single year. They're at least 6-6, 7-5. And, a lot of years they have a chance to be even better. They've been to Big 12 title games, all that. He has turned a dumpster fire into a perennial conference power in the Big 12, which, might not impress you guys. I'm sure it doesn't because you guys aren't impressed by a lot. All fine. Me personally, I'm all in. But back to your point, Curtis, like, I think it makes sense from the Arkansas side, 100%, which, by the way, I've been a Matt Campbell fan for 10 years. Ever since he beat Arkansas with Toledo, I've kept my eye on Matt Campbell. He's been my guy, and I've always liked him. And he's done a great job at both those stops. But I still quite haven't heard the explanation as to what would connect him to Arkansas. Because I've seen some people be like, well, he doesn't have a ton of resources at Iowa State. Okay, cool. Why would he go to Arkansas? Well, he wants to go to the SEC. Okay. Why would he go to Arkansas? Well, he wants a different challenge. He wants to be a part of a program of more stability. Okay, why would he go to Arkansas? Like, none of these things that we say connect him to Arkansas. I get why we want him, of course. I don't know why, of the jobs available, Matt Campbell would take a risk. This is a guy who, as we've just talked about, turned down USC just a few years ago, told USC no. And, other people have told USC no, so it's not the groundbreaking thing. But I'm like, if you're going to tell USC no, why would you a few years later sign up to be the coach at Arkansas coming off of a 2-10 season? That just doesn't quite make sense to me. There could be an explanation, and it could be, hey, he had a change of heart. He's really close with this guy who convinced him on it, whatever. I just want to hear that. Someone give me that soliloquy of why he would go to Arkansas, and give it to me not of he sucks at Iowa State and he hates the Big 12, he wants the SEC. Tell me what would actually connect him to Arkansas. That's what I want to know. But once you do that, I'm all in on Matt Campbell.
Well, I'm just telling you, he beat Arkansas in 2015, as you said, in Little Rock. And after he saw the fans at War Memorial, he's like, I want to be their head coach one day. And that's all it took. He just fell in love with the Razorbacks. But yeah, like the Campbell thing, you mentioned that 2015 season. It's crazy. A lot of connections here with Arkansas as far as the surrounding situation, because when Matt Campbell took over at Iowa State, a lot of the reasons he got the job was because obviously they were a good team at Toledo, but they beat Arkansas. And he took over after Iowa State 3 straight years went 3-9, 2-10, 3-9. And the coach that was the head coach of Iowa State that got fired was Paul Rhodes. the former defensive coordinator of Arkansas under Brett Bielema, which is where after he got fired at Iowa State, went over there. So the point is, there was some chaos that kind of went all around that, but he went into a program that was crap, like absolute trash, and turned them into a competitive program. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what Arkansas' situation is. And they can walk in and take a program that's been crap and take over and turn it around. So, hey, I don't think it's going to be Matt Campbell, but that's why I would love it. That's my case for it. Guy went into a Power 5, Power 4 program, however you want to put it, walked in after they had 3 straight years of just garbage and turned him around and made him into a very highly competitive program. So much so that just last season, I know this season they're 6-4, and I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, I don't want him. But last year they went 11-3. They went 11-3, and they won the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I mean, how could if you won the Pop-Tarts Bowl? That's all I needed.
You had to accomplish there,
right?
You know?
Exactly. And then in 2020, the COVID year, they finished top 10 at Iowa State. Went 9-3, 8-1 in conference play, and they won the Fiesta Bowl. And every single year he's been there. Well, first year he went 3-9 in 2016, but every year after that, they had a winning record. 2022, I guess they went down to 4-8. But the point is, it's been very sustainable. I think that Arkansas could be in a situation where they have a lot more resources and could help out. But again, it all goes back to the age-old question. A lot of people say, why not us? I'm saying, okay, but why Arkansas? As you guys are saying, like, why us? Why us over here?
Yeah, we know the case for why not. Give me the case for why.
Yes, exactly right. So, but there's been a few more developments, or at least some new reports here with the Razorback coaching search, and we'll get into that as well here in just a second. But I want to remind everybody that OZK Insurance is one of our sponsors here on our Inside Arkansas Football pregame show. And we know that a lot of you are always about getting the right insurance because nobody wants to deal with it, the hassle of shopping around and everything. But that's why we use and recommend OZK Insurance, because they're based right here in Arkansas and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and price for you. Whether it's home, auto, business, you name it, they do it. Whether it's Saturdays at Razorback Stadium or everyday life, you want protection that you can count on. So count on OZK Insurance and get a free online quote today at ozkinsurance.com. That's ozkinsurance.com. You can also call 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. And remember, folks, they have over 600 five-star Google reviews, over 600. That's how you know they're the best in the business. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. All right, guys. So, again, a lot of stuff happens, but then nothing happens. But this was the latest this morning that has talked about the coaching search and everything. This does come from Pete Nakos. This is about an hour ago on On3. Of course, it's titled Latest Intel. So immediately I'm already pissed when I see that headline. I'm like, I know I'm going to hate whatever I'm about to read.
Especially from him, man.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to read all of it, but just getting into it. It says, sources have told On3 that the Razorbacks are working to hone in on their top target in the next few days. That's like the first paragraph. And me and Andrew were talking about before the show. I'm like, that's the stupidest sentence because, yeah, no crap. Because everybody who's looking for a head coach is probably honing in on who their top target is in the next few days because the season's about to come to an end.
Yeah, the season ends in 7 to 10 days. So, yeah, good stuff, man.
Nakos, and listen, I know we've had our ups and downs with Nakos. He is the king of vague terminology that doesn't mean anything, like listing things out and being like, oh, yeah, Eric Morris is a name that has been mentioned in context near Arkansas. It's like, what does that sentence mean? Like, does that mean he is a candidate for the job? Does that mean he's interviewed for the job? Well, there's been some buzz for Rhett Lashley. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like it's just very weird things. Arkansas is close to honing in on their coach. Yeah. What does that mean? Like, he just does these things. And that's what you're supposed to do in these situations. So I don't really even knock him for it. But a lot of times I see people yesterday On3 had the thing where they're like, hey, LSU's going to, they're prepping this $90 million offer. And I saw people took that and were like, oh, so like Lane to LSU's official. And it's because they don't read quite what it says. If you actually read the fine print of everything they put out, it's a bunch of vague nothing that doesn't mean anything. And that's not disrespectful. It's just like, I think sometimes we read these things and at a glance, we're like, oh my God, he is saying this, 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 and this. And really, that's not what's happening at all. It's kind of just like vague things covering your tracks 7 different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also, too, as we'll talk about, a Stone Ager, I'm not a writer, never been a big J journalist, so maybe you guys, but it feels like it's one of these things to where maybe he got a little quote from something and he's like, well, I can't just tweet this out. I got to have something to click on. So I'll use this one little quote that I got and make it just a vague, weird story. So that way I have words for the SEO algorithms. That's kind of the vibe I got from this. But either way,
I think,
no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add to that. I think what probably happens is he reaches out to industry sources or agents or, different folks that he has connections with. And I think it's what everybody does. But for the most part, you're saying, all right, yeah, like what's really going on with this Kiffin thing? What are you hearing? Yeah, man, it's crazy down at LSU. What's their fallback plan? Hey, have you heard anything about Arkansas? Oh yeah, Morris, Silverfield, Galesh. Okay, cool. And then you do that a few times and then you go back and, make your tally marks of everything that you heard. Probably didn't go into as much detail on the Arkansas jobs. Like, I don't doubt that that's kind of how it went. It's like, oh, here's these 4 names that keep popping up. It's the same thing that the Athletic did yesterday. They had these long drawn out things about how the process has gone with all these other schools and where they're at with their vetting with certain candidates. And then it was like 2 lines. It was like Arkansas remains in contact with Alex Galesh, Eric Morris, Ryan Silverfield, and John Summerall. The end. And so it's just like, okay. and some of it's probably because Arkansas is trying to really go all in on keeping things tight-lipped and not letting stuff leak out as they should. That's kind of part of the deal there. And if they're keeping it real buttoned up, then good on them for doing that. And then part of it is I just don't know that these folks are going as the national folks, are not going to the links to get the juicy deets on the Arkansas job compared to some of these other ones that are just more prevalent on the national scene.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of covering it from, like you said, like a kind of a big picture standpoint of just kind of seeing where the wind is going. And ultimately, like, that's what reporting is. That's what journalism kind of is seeing which direction the wind is blowing. And now a lot of people take that and they make these bold proclamations or whatever. That's not what someone like Pete Nakos does. He's not going to go out and try and make a guess and definitively say this. He's going to kind of cover his tracks. And so, I don't really have too much of an issue with it, but it's just a reminder of like a test of our media literacy. Because I think a lot of times there's so much information on the internet. There's so many people that are reporting on this, so many people that are spreading rumors, saying their opinion and all that. And it's easy to see it and read what you want to read. But I think if you really read between the lines, there's not many people that truly know how this thing is going to go. And by the way, that is a good thing. Like, we're cool with that. I know it's frustrating because we want to know and we're desperate. We're anxious to know who Arkansas's next coach is. And that's good. We're supposed to feel that way, but it actually is. It makes sense logistically. And I think we should be okay accepting the fact that, nobody on the internet right now, despite all the people who are trying to convince you they do know, nobody really knows without a shadow of a doubt how this is going to play out just yet. And that's kind of what makes it fun for me. Like, for me, it's kind of like that may stress you guys out of like, oh man, we have to wait a week. I'm like, dude, these next 7 days are going to be crazy because really nobody knows. And so it's like, it's rare that we're this close to the end and still nobody really knows.
Well, this is what I thought was also very fascinating from the article here from Nakos. Is, as you talked about, Curtis, the buzz continues to pick up around Eric Morris, Alex Golish, Ryan Silverfield, John Summerall. Like, yeah, we know. But it says that's what the sources close to the situation have told On3. At the same time, sources have emphasized that athletic director Hunter Yurachek has spoken to more than 20 candidates since the Razorbacks fired Sam Pittman. Guys, I tried to read any sort of intel on other coaching searches if I can, and maybe it's done this way. But, we talked about it a week or so ago about the sources have stressed to us, type of thing. And now this is like sources have emphasized. So whoever their source is, it could be Yurachek, it could be somebody in the U of A, I don't know. But I find it just fascinating where it's like, of all the things, they are emphasizing the fact that Hunter Yurachek has spoken to more than 20 candidates. And it just makes me wonder as to like, okay, but why are you having to emphasize that? Why does that matter? Who cares how many candidates you've talked to? Like, I don't care. No one should care. Who cares the number? Just, are you talking to good ones? Are you talking to the right ones? But they're like, no. I'm telling you, and you better be making sure you say this. He's talked to more than 20 people. I don't understand why that's a big deal.
We've cast a wide net from coast to coast in this coaching search, from high school coordinators to NFL head coaches. But whenever we hire a guy, the first thing is going to be said is he's the only one we offered this job to. So, but I mean, hell, that's good. I think they needed to do that in ways, with Arkansas' situation, and obviously they're working to improve that from a resources standpoint. But it's a challenging job. It's a unique job. You need to try to get creative. That doesn't mean you will. Sometimes you just land on the up and coming G5 coach to come up there and take over your program and see if it translates. But if true, and I don't know, I've heard 20 names or whatever, but sounds like quite a few, and it's a wide range of guys that they've talked to there. So I'm cool with that. I'm all right with that. And I know, some people say, well, how many of these are smoke screens? What is this another smoke screen? I think we need to also understand what a smoke screen is. A smoke screen isn't people on a message board who are connecting dots saying, oh, it's got to be Dabo. It's a smoke screen, though, because it's not really him. They just want our attention diverted. That's not where those things originate. You know what I'm saying? So every time there's a name, or it seems like pie in the sky or whatever, in a lot of dot connecting, and we just assume it's a smoke screen. No. That's not that. That comes from the top. Those are the things that get put out by a Pete Nakos or whatever strategically. It's not what we come up with on the Discord or whatever.
Yeah, to me, this new definition of smokescreen is if someone mentions the name of a coach I don't want, then it has to be a smokescreen. So because I don't want to believe that, so it's got to be a smokescreen. That's what I feel like people use it as now.
Yeah.
John, you remember whenever your older brother would be playing video games and you were like 4 and you couldn't quite play yet, and so they would hand you a controller, maybe give you a headset, and it's not plugged in, it's not turned on, and you're sitting there playing and everything? That's what a lot of people are doing on the internet right now. They're like, oh, I'm creating smoke screens and looking for scoops on the Arkansas coaching search, and they're like on Discord, and they like think this is real life. They think they're like really playing. They're in it. They're in the scoop game. I'm over here bumping elbows with the guys who are making the decision. Stinky Hog 43 told me that he works for the board of trustees, and so I'm over here interacting with real people who are telling me the real information. And that's what's happening, and I hope everyone understands that. Like, I hope if you are getting on the internet every day and you were like dead ass in your heart, you think you are like gaining intel on Arkansas's coaching search, you are playing the video game without the controller plugged in. That is what's happening to you. I just hope y'all understand that.
The guys with the, like you said, John, if it's somebody I don't want, then it's a smoke screen. Also, if it's somebody you don't get, then it was just a smoke screen.
That's right.
Franklin was a smoke screen. Lashley was a smoke screen for Eric Morris or whatever. No, that's not how this works here.
Can I do my favorite segment of making fun of the chat? So you know how a few minutes ago I said, nobody really knows right now. We're going into this last week and nobody really knows. And this guy says, nobody knows. Y'all are crazy. It's Bobby. And I said, hey, nobody knows. Everybody's just kind of guessing. He's like, no, that's not the case. Here's my guess as to what's happening. This is just a perfect microcosm of where we're at. We're sitting here talking about Matt Campbell, and we don't want him, and we're talking about Eric Morris, but we don't want him either. Let's just hire Bobby. And it's where we're at with a week left.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. We will get into the chat as well as do some of our Bet Saracen props for a game today that is played at 2:30. As this is the Inside Arkansas Football pregame show presented by Bet Saracen. But I did want to bring up when it comes to, like the smoke screens and the way that people approach coaches and how it's looked at and who they want and who they don't want and everything. It's funny to me how people will latch on and like you talk about the Discord, Twitter universe of people. It's like the most popular people apparently are the board of trustees because everybody knows them. There's somebody there is people all over. It's like, I know a guy on the board of trustees. I hung out with him. We played racquetball together. It's like they're the most popular guys and gals in the world. They have friends across the entire state, and that's why it's just so funny to see how it all plays out and how everybody's just wanting their guys or just throwing it around. But still, we'll get to your chats, folks, because you know what. We do love you despite what Andrew wanted you to do. And he's just mad at you all, but we will get into your chats. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, if you need a great spot to watch the Razorbacks take on Texas today and hopefully beat Texas today, there's no better place than the Goat Lab Brewery or the Goat Lab Red in Fayetteville. It's their new location right there at 1214 North Garland Avenue. And when you go by there, you're going to have some incredible signature burgers. They also have, of course, their Goat Lab brews like Razorback, Tusk Light. And don't forget, they do progressive wings. So as the score goes up for the Razorbacks in Texas, the wing price goes down. And it's an awesome little deal that they have. And as long as Arkansas and Texas keep scoring, hey, the wings could end up being free. And then you end up having a great day of hanging out, drinking some great beers, having some great wings, and having a great time over at Goat Lab Red. So get there for pregame, during the game, post-game. It's your spot, and it's your newest game day tradition for the Razorbacks. It's Goat Lab Red at 1214 North Garland Avenue in Fayetteville. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the chats, and we all know the rules. Super chats get read first. And for some reason, I got to go all the way back because we had a super chat at the very start, which appreciate it from Titan Pig. He says, have seen some fans say if we don't hire Bobby, they will donate to the school that does. It's ridiculous. Kick rocks then. That the people who say that, folks, are the people who aren't donating money to Arkansas at all anyways. Like anybody that ever says that, that's not a thing. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So
people do love them some Bobby Petrino though, man.
I get it.
John, we were talking about that walking to the game yesterday of, say that this search is like if they hired Kane Womack or whatever. There would be a segment that's like, hey, we can make this work. He's got the ties and, the SEC, whatever. But there would be a large percentage of people that would be like, we had Bobby Petrino and you went and hired a coordinator. Like people would lose it. And Womack wouldn't get a fair shot because of that. Like there's some staunch defenders of that man. And, everybody knows we love Bobby P, but at this point it's like, come on, man.
Well, my response to those people of like, oh, if y'all don't, if we kick Bobby to the curb, then I'm done or whatever. It's like the dude's been on campus for multiple years. And he's been the interim head coach for going on 3 months. At any point, during these last 3 months, if you're this big money guy, now I don't know who it is that's saying this, but if you're a guy that is in a position to help out and you wanted Bobby Petrino to be the full-time head coach, I feel like you should have spoke up like well before right now, You know what I mean? And like, especially the last 2 years, because I understand you can't blame the state of the program on Bobby because he wasn't directly the one involved, but it's like he has been on the staff for multiple years. And so if he's not to blame, sure, but like, what has he done to remedy the issue? And if you're a booster that has the power to make something happen and you haven't been helping as well, like, why are you waiting till right now? So I can't buy that narrative that it's like, oh, if you hire Bobby, then all of a sudden we'll start giving a ton of money and we'll start competing at a high level in NIL. We'll start winning football games. We'll start really taking ourselves seriously. It's like, what have y'all been doing for 2 years? What have we been doing? Like, what is like, I get we can't blame Bobby for the last 2 years, but what's been going on? What has been helping the case?
Yeah. Well, and to your point as well, it's like, the idea that it's like, I wouldn't say I'd be okay because that's going to get piss people off. The only way that I would get behind or even understand or even feel okay about the Bobby Petrino permanent hire thing is if there was a guaranteed, no questions asked, 100% factual that you would get the most NIL and funding from the donors and boosters if it was Bobby Petrino. That's the only way I'd get behind it. Because it's like, hey, we could have hired these other coaches. However, the only coach that all the money makers and all the money donors and everything wanted, and we could get substantially more is if we hired Bobby. I'm like, okay. Like, I wouldn't love it, but I'd be like, hey, that's what the name of the game is the NIL and getting players. That's the only way I'd be like, all right. But anything besides that, I just can't get down with it.
Well, you said a guarantee, which is key because, again, I think a lot of people conceptually, they tell themselves, oh, well, if you hire Bobby, that'll be cheaper. And so hypothetically, we'd have more money for NIL. We'd have more money for resources. Problem with that is you were just paying your head coach one of the cheapest salaries in the SEC. You have already been paying your assistant coaches one of the cheapest salaries in the SEC. And so it's like this idea of like, oh, well, if we just cheap out on our head coach, we can have a ton of money for NIL. You've already been in that context of having the cheapest head coach, the cheapest assistant pool, the cheapest support staff pool, the cheapest NIL, everything, and you haven't had a ton of money left over. In fact, the U of A has been hemorrhaging money. And so it's like this idea that if they hire Bobby, all of a sudden they're going to be rich. It is based on nothing right now. And so I'm with you, John, that I would need some type of real, actual in-writing guarantee that this is an actual thing we're going to commit to.
Yeah, we need a guarantee like what LSU got with that they're going to be out here giving Lane Kiffin $1 billion to come in there and to be the head coach of LSU or whatever. That would be.
Speaking of $1 billion, and Andrew, we touched on this just briefly late last night on the basketball postgame show, but there's been a lot of talk about where all this major funding is going to come from Arkansas, and that it's a wide range of donors and boosters, and there are levels to millionaires. Must be nice, but at any rate, a lot of talk about John Tyson, right? And what he did for the basketball program and how involved he is in other sports. Is he the backstop for this hire? Is he not? Is he making large donations for it? Is he not? Like, what is his role? What's the involvement? Or him and Hunter on the outs? Like, what's going on? Hunter Yurachek and John Tyson were kicking it on Gucci Row for the entirety of halftime. And it wasn't a contentious conversation. It wasn't a forced, awkward thing. They looked like old pals, man. And they were in some deep conversations. You could tell they were laughing with each other, joking with each other, having a good old time. So didn't strike me as somebody who was overly stressed out about a coaching search. Didn't strike me as two guys who've been arguing a whole bunch over money or what that's going to look like. It was interesting. I spent my entire halftime watching those two dudes and their body language together, and they were chilling. And John Tyson's always chilling, man. He's like lean back, posted up. He's one of us, but Yurachek was in the same boat there. And those two guys, it was like a half-hour conversation that they had there.
Okay, yeah, Yurachek has that, but Curtis, you saw when John Tyson walked by us. He gave me a head nod. It was John like that. So you tell me who he likes more. All right, you tell me who's more in the know.
No,
like 100%.
He did acknowledge John's existence.
Yes, he did, and I was very happy. I'm like, and then he walked by and Curtis goes, "You think that smells like money?" I was like, I don't know what money smells like. So yeah, I'm sure that must be what it smells like because I'll never know. But yeah, they were definitely. They looked like old pals a lot last night. And who knows, it would be one of those funny, sarcastic things if they were just cussing each other out, but they were doing it in smiles because they knew everyone was watching them. But then at the same time, here's my thing. I know we'll go into other chats, but another thing last night, because I like to get into the minutia of it. They wanted people to see. That's why they did it out there on the court side. You don't think that they could have gone back to the hospitality room and yucked it up? No, they wanted to sit there in front of everybody and show like, what's up? Yeah, look at what's going on, man. We're besties for the resties. It's great.
Portray a united front.
That's right. All right, let's see. Just love this from Matthew. Fire Mark Stoops. So I guess even in the football pregame, we get some boys. Yeah. Even in the football side of things, we get some Kentucky fans in here. So yeah. Well, I don't know if you'll get your wish, but yeah, go ahead, spend that money. Because I don't know, guys, $22 million on that roster may not have much money left for the buyouts. But
it's a lot of wasted money up in Lexington these days.
And here's the thing about Stoops: he probably earned himself another year. They've been kicking ass the last couple weeks here, and I think they've got like a buy game, whatever you want to call it, a FCS school or something. Seems like an easy one this weekend. They're going to make a bowl and all this stuff.
You can't fire him if they make a bowl.
No, man, he's in there for another year.
Yeah, send him to the Liberty Bowl. Actually, today they play Vanderbilt.
Today's Vanderbilt. Okay.
Yeah, so they
and then next week they play Louisville, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
no? Because I thought they always is it. No, you're right. You're right. For some reason, I thought they played Louisville earlier in the year, but no, you're right. So yeah, Louisville. So yeah, some tough games.
Oh no, it's Auburn. I think Auburn plays like Mercer or something weird. Yeah,
this is your last cupcake week where some teams like to save it for right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, like Texas A&M plays Samford, Georgia plays Charlotte. Like Georgia's done with the SEC. Like they don't have to. It's like
Georgia versus Charlotte is the biggest mismatch in college football this season.
Yes,
that might be the best team versus the worst FBS team, frankly.
Yeah, Charlotte's 1-9. Well, when you lost Omega Blake, and I mean that's what happens.
You couldn't knock down Petrino either. They tried to bring him in.
Yeah, Alabama plays Eastern Illinois. Auburn plays Mercer. South Carolina plays Coastal Carolina. LSU plays Western Kentucky. It's like, what the heck's going on? Hey, Western Kentucky's 8-2 though, low key. Just so maybe an upset alert. Enough like real football talk. We can't do that. John, appreciate the super chat. He says, Andrew's reason to hire Kane Bell. Trust me, bro. Don't look at his record or anything. 48-40 in the Big 12. You guys are crazy for saying it's a good hire.
Okay, let me ask y'all this. Every time, because I know we've had this conversation before, and people have been asked, what should the expectations be at Arkansas? Like, in your mind, if you were picking the context of Arkansas football, what should be the year-by-year expectations? Curtis, give me the answer that everyone always says.
I don't even know anymore, Andrew. I'm sorry. This just really frustrated me because I'm tired of having this damn conversation.
Well,
but
okay.
I know we have to.
So everyone does the thing because all the time when we fire a coach, hire a coach, whatever, people always are like, well, if Arkansas, if they could just be 7-5, 8-4 every year, and then occasionally have a 10-2 year, and then occasionally have a chance, but every year you have a baseline of 6, 7, 8 wins. That is literally what Matt Campbell does at Iowa State. He goes 7-5 every year, and then occasionally they have a team like last year where they win 11 games. Occasionally they win 9 games. But it's a baseline of just consistency, stability, competitive. They're not going to embarrass you. It's a very stable ground. That is the case for hiring Matt Campbell. And by the way, that's not like a case that I invented. It's the easiest case in the world. He's like one of the number one candidates in the country right now. Like everyone with a job opening would be fine with Matt Campbell right now. Like Penn State, I think that's probably going to end up being, if he does leave, I think that's where he'll go. It would, for a program like Arkansas that has not had any stability for the last 30 years, hiring a guy that would bring all that known stability of just like a baseline of, hey, you're going to make a bowl every year, and then every few years you might have a chance to win 8-9 games. That is like, I know that may not sound exciting to you. I'm sure as a Razorback fan, you're like, I'd rather us be 10-2 every year. Well, no shit. But you're not going to get that. And by the way, whoever Arkansas actually winds up hiring, make no mistake about it, whoever Arkansas hires will be objectively, unequivocally less accomplished than Matt Campbell.
Yeah, he's unanimously viewed as a top-notch coach. I mean, nobody who watches ball questions Matt Campbell as a coach. And I think people are, if you have a little bit of nuance, you understand the situation he's been in at Iowa State and done quite well. But whatever, fine. We're crazy for thinking Matt Campbell would be a good hire. Who is your good hire, John Fisher? Let us know. Just let us know in the chat.
Bobby Vitrino. Vitrino's a good hire.
Well, like,
I mean, it's
you can make that way. That's fine. But let us know who you want.
Yeah, for real. You can make the case. Look, we made the case for Eric Morris and all this. All those guys are great, and I love those guys. All of them are less accomplished than Matt Campbell and are less of a sure thing than Matt Campbell.
No, and also too, I've always looked at it like if you're looking at coaches that are kind of like that borderline, if you look at their record or whatever. My whole thing is, guys, is I'm like, what have they done in the NIL era? Because that is a major thing for me where there's, when people bring up Pat Fitzgerald, first off, get out of here with that nonsense. People bringing him up. Oh, look what he did in North. I'm like, yeah, but did he do it during the NIL era? Because it's a completely different game now. Same thing with Gus Malzahn, like any of these coaches. But like Matt Campbell, literally last year won 11 games at Iowa State in the NIL era. It's like, the dude sustained some success and he's had success. So, but again, people sometimes I feel like look at what the record is like this season, only this season. What do they do this year? If they sucked, okay, well, or if they're average, okay, well, why we just might as well kept Sam Pittman. It's like you just doesn't have to be that way all the time.
Three-time Big 12 Coach of the Year.
That's good too, but don't tell people that. What's that?
Yeah, Otis Kirk, our boy Otis, wrote a story about how Arkansas is closing in on a hire for its head coaching position. And he said, could it be the 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year? And the picture for the story, Dan Campbell.
No way.
Not Matt Campbell, by the way. Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions.
Jeez. Let's see some other chats here too, because we'll get to your Vet Saracen prop plays and everything. Let's see. I get this from William. He says, Matt Campbell's Houston Nut 2.0. He consistently done more with less. Took a dumpster fire Iowa State program to consistent winner. He's consistently done more with less, and he's a motivator. I don't want Matt Campbell anymore.
Everything you said after the first sentence, 100% agree with. The first sentence, you lost me a little bit.
Well, I just like the fact that he also,
personality-wise, I think they could not be more opposite.
Well, I also love the fact that he said he's consistently done more with less. He's consistently done more with less twice, and like the same thing. So, but just want you to know he's done consistently more with less. Let's see. Heartbroken Hog says Matt Campbell could easily average 8 wins a year here and give us that big 10 or 11 win year every 4 or 5 years that most of us rational fans would be happy with. That's exactly right. And that's why, yeah, that's why I would love to have them too. Let's see. Also, just Trey's. It's like, I never know if anyone are trolling or anything. I think Campbell could just be another smoke screen. Everyone's a smoke screen.
I started that because I wanted to talk about the smoke screen thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's
but folks don't know, you know what I mean? You see that stuff floated out, and then I think it was the whole Campbell thing. I'm not saying there's nothing to it, but it's been wildly misrepresented with the way that it's been aggregated by some folks who wrote stories, and it was just very unclear in terms of, okay, so Thamel's saying that Matt Campbell's and so a lot of people believe that. So if you read that, and I don't blame you because it was put out there poorly, then yeah, that you could look at it from that standpoint and be like, oh, okay, maybe this is like a smokescreen, and he's using it as leverage for a raise, and they're trying to hide their actual candidate or whatever. But it's not if you know how it had, actually got put out there.
Yeah. A few more chats here too, folks. For some reason, they're just our starred ones keeps disappearing. Cameron, what are you doing? You better be chilling over here. Let's see. Curry Home GTN says, good to meet y'all at Alumni Hall yesterday. The Hogs by 20 discount was fire. Yeah. Good to meet you too.
Nice. Very cool.
I actually ended up seeing him on the square after we left Alumni Hall.
Oh,
really?
Did you remember him?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And I saw his daughter there too. I hope she enjoyed her stay at Arkansas because she got the big decision. But there's a big decision happening, and it's not any of these coaches. It's Curry's daughter.
Yeah. Well, also just real quick too. Last night, like I think Curtis, you brought up on the postgame show, but we had a lot of fans come up to us last night at the basketball game, and we had apparently I took a picture with some of the nicer older women that listen to our show and everything, and y'all need to be chilling on the comments on that. And also, it was great to talk with them. But the lady the couple that we met on our way walking up, she cracked me up because she came up to me. She's like, "I love you, John, but Curtis is my favorite." I was like, "I will allow this. I will allow this." So
she's the best.
At least that's a respectful way of putting it.
Yeah, she was awesome. All right, let's see a few more here. Heartbroken Hog Super Chat, appreciate it. Says, when Penn State fired James Franklin, the first name out of Josh Pate's mouth was Matt Campbell. Do you want Flash or do you want a football coach?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Pate's a huge Matt Campbell guy.
He is a huge Matt Campbell guy. And I would say that the final sentence there of the Flash or a football coach, like I said, I get how you could do the Wikipedia search and look at Matt Campbell's record and say, oh, it's not that great. I think Matt Campbell is a good litmus test for like if you've been paying attention to what's been going on in the world.
That's right. Chris also super chat says the people hating Campbell also think Dan Lanning would come here. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like if you really think Arkansas is going to get Dan Lanning or Kenny Dillingham or somebody that you think is awesome, I could see how you'd be like, yeah, Matt Campbell sucks. But yeah. I just I think you're going to get a coach less accomplished and less proven than him, which is fine.
Yeah. Again, this is how coaching searches go. Everybody has the one that they want, and if it's not the same one that you want, then it's a terrible thing. It's just how it goes.
I sit here and I think, God, man, can we please be done with this? Like my heart sank when I saw the 7 to 10 days thing from NACO's because I was really hanging on to Thamel's. Maybe you get some clarity by the end of the weekend. Because my good Lord, can we be done with this? But then I don't even know what I'm going to do with my time. I guess we'll just talk about the new guy. Okay, he's going to go get a quarterback from the portal. Cool. Who's his defensive coordinator? All right.
Well, it cracks me up because I think it was like when Curtis came to pick me up for the basketball game. It may have been like the first thing Curtis said, but he was just like, John, I really hope we have a head coach named on by like this weekend. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. Because I want to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. Because I know whatever is the most inconvenient time for all of us is when this is going to happen. Like
yeah, like we've got the in-laws coming into town, and which is awesome, by the way, for Thanksgiving. We're looking forward to that, but I just already know because they don't get it. Like, they don't really understand what it is that we do here, and I just know I'm going to be locked in on my phone all the time, like checking the update. All right, what's going on? If they hired a guy yet, and then have to get up and sprint away from a meal or something, they're gonna be like, what's going on? So, I just before Thanksgiving. Come on, man.
I pray to God every night. But last night I prayed that if the coaching hire is going to be made, do not do it for Curtis's sake. after Arkansas beats Duke on Thanksgiving, and then like right that time, it's like it leaks out who the coach is, and I'm like,
I will lose it.
I know. I'm like, it's like 5:30, right?
What's that?
The Duke game.
The Duke
I think
basketball
it's 7.
Is it 7? Okay.
Yeah.
So, dude, that I do think is a danger spot, because I think if you were going to announce it or leak it on Thanksgiving, it would be at night.
Oh,
if it's a post Duke win, when that happens, there's part of me that would be so salty about it as a basketball guy. I just want to ban everyone who brings up the football thing. Ban them. Get them the hell out of here, Cameron. But then again, we would probably break the internet if you had both of those things going on simultaneously. So,
could we do 2 live stream? Yeah, could we do like 2 live streams at the same time? Like, you got like Curtis and Andrew doing the Pod at the Palace post game. Like maybe like me and Dudley are doing the football. Like just do it at the same time. Like I don't know. That would be chaos.
Well, we could all be in here together, and we could just change our our little background graphic here. Okay, all right. We got a Duke question. Cool. Pod at the Palace is up. Oh no, back to the coaching hire. Here we are, Inside Arkansas Football.
To answer this question, hog on it. One, this has happened before. The Tom Herman, I remember him going to Texas, happened on Thanksgiving night. If it's going, and I'm not saying it's going to happen on Thanksgiving Day. I'm saying if it's happening on Thanksgiving, it would not happen at 1 p.m. while everyone's doing their thing. It would come out later in the night once people are done doing their turkey thing. People start talking, people doing whatever. And who knows when these things are going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen on Thanksgiving. It'll be at night. If it did happen on Thanksgiving, it would not be during the middle of the day.
Right. Yeah. It wouldn't be that. All right. So we'll do actually, I'll tell you what, we'll just tell you all about our friends over at Bet Saracen, and then we'll get to some of your final chats too. Because again, as we can tell by the chat, no one really cares about the game. But what we do care about is winning money on the game. And if you want to win the most money, have the most fun, get the best deals, specials, promos, everything, do it with Bet Saracen. It's Arkansas's #1 sports wagering app and the official sponsor of us here at Inside Arkansas Football pregame and postgame show. What you do is you just scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you click the link below in the description. And when you do, it'll take you right over to download the app. And when you download the app, if you use the code INSIDEAR, that's INSIDEAR, you use that code, you can bet $25 and get $125. So if you think the Hogs are going to win today against Texas, and then they're going to carry Bobby Petrino off on the field, and he's going to be named the head coach because you love the man so much, well, then go ahead and bet some money on it and get that free $100 right there. I mean, again, bet $25, get $125 when you use code INSIDEAR with Bet Saracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Okay, so a few more chats here too, then we can give our final predictions of this Arkansas-Texas game. Sure. But I did laugh about this. I saw a lot of people talking about it. Hunter says, McAfee just said that Hunter dude that's talking, he's got to get a lot better on game day, and did the cuckoo crazy motion. Yeah, apparently I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait. But apparently McAfee was ripping Hunter Yurachek for his college football playoff chairman. And then I think Kirk Herbstreit was just like, oh, well, he's in a tough spot and everything. And McAfee's just like, yeah, this guy sucks. It's like, apparently. So,
I haven't watched that because we've been doing this. Obviously, that's tough. It's tough when McAfee's up there. Oh, boy, y'all, he's crazy. Come on.
Yeah, and I'll say this real quick, guys. Wasn't really not necessarily a fan, but I didn't care one way about Pat McAfee. He's grown on me. As weird as it is, I feel like most people have started getting tired of him. He's kind of grown a little bit on me. I like his approach, and when his thing with the duck, and because they're in Oregon right now, is just fun too. So either way, let's see. Heartbroken Hawk says, I've been seeing a lot of people say Eric Morris to Oklahoma State over the past couple of days. I mean,
well, dude, I Twitter searched Eric Morris's name yesterday at one point. I don't remember why, but I Twitter searched his name and saw an ungodly number of tweets connecting him to Oklahoma State. And obviously, these are literally Oklahoma State, pokes daily, tweeting out stuff like this. These aren't real things, but in terms of just smoke being where fire is, and I don't even think Arkansas fans know who Eric Morris is yet.
No, they're gonna have to.
They're the ones that listen to our show,
which are the ball knowers, of course. Let's see. David says Campbell's salary at Iowa State $3.7 million, double his salary if he comes to Arkansas. That's why
he makes $5.
I get the money aspect, but why would he not go to LSU? Why would he not go to Florida? Why would he not go to Auburn? Why would he not go to Ole Miss? Why would he not go to Penn State? So again, I see issues of why Matt Campbell maybe would leave Iowa State, I have yet to hear a reason of why he would go to Arkansas.
This isn't last year when Arkansas would have been the best job open.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And also, too, just to put a kibosh on it, guys, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm saying there's a less than 5% chance that Matt Campbell's the next head coach at Arkansas. Like, I would love it, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, 100% of my heart wants it to be true, but yes. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
As much as we've been riding for him, honestly, like, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. And then Addison just says Dan Campbell will be the next head coach of the Arizona Razorbacks. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good.
Well all right. So again, guys, we haven't talked much about the game because it's happening 2:30 today, and we will still be doing our post-game show presented by Bet Saracen. But just, I guess we could use our final thoughts before we get out of here. The game today, predictions. What do you think? Any props? Just anything you want to say about the Arkansas versus Texas?
Prop wise, I was looking earlier this morning, and I know Braylon Russell and Rodney Hill are out. So you got Cam Settles as like your backup running back, which that's cool. But I just saw the Mike Washington thing. It was where'd it go? There it is. Over 15.5 rushes and over a half rushing touchdown at plus 230. I don't know who else is really going to get the carries in this game. They might throw a lot because they're down or whatever, but anything Mike Washington seems a little bit more juicy to me. And then as far as the game is concerned, Arkansas loses by one score. I mean, it's just kind of what they do. So I don't have any reason to feel otherwise about that. Hope they beat them. It'd be funny. I'd love to make fun of them in the post-game show, the Longhorns, but I don't know why this one would be any different than any of the other games we've watched this year.
Yeah, I like that. Curtis, can I interest you in some Mike Washington over 1.5 receptions, over 9.5 receiving yards for plus 145?
You can.
What'll happen here is he'll have one reception for like 30. He'll have the yardage easily and just won't get that second one. But no, I'm with you. I look forward to watching the game, man. You got to accept this for what it is. You can't watch this game and think it's going to mean anything in the grand scheme of life or the season or the program or whatever. But maybe you can have fun and beat a rival. And so we'll see how that works out. I have Arkansas losing this one 41-17. I think Arch Manning is going to be doing a little snarl. He's going to be doing a little like, y'all remember that year that Drew Lock was at Missouri and they played Texas and he was doing that whole thing. And then Tom Herman was like doing this on the sideline. That's what's going to be happening with Arch Manning today. He's going to be doing crap like that.
Yeah. I could see it. The prop play I like, and I like it just because it's kind of dumb, and I feel like I could see it happening. The longest shot, man, plus 800. Cam Shanks over a half receiving touchdown, and then over a 9.5 yards reception, because I could totally see him having one catch for a touchdown that was like 20 yards out or like 60 yards out where they found him wide open. I'm like, for plus 800, why not? Why not throw that one into the mix? But I don't think Arkansas is going to win. I think as of right now, they're still 8.5-point underdogs, according to Bet Saracen. And but I do think it's a one possession game, and I think Arkansas loses it by a stupid score of like, let's just say like 25-22 or something, like something dumb, something weird. Because this is just, I just really well, I guess we'll find out. But is this the game they finally let go of the rope? Is this the game they get blown out? It could happen, but hasn't happened yet. We'll see how it all plays out. But I think, guys, if Arkansas gets blown out, that means they have found their head coach because Palpetrino's like, screw it.
I like that.
I'm out. Yep. So that's what it's going to mean.
Coming tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
If Arkansas sucks, that means Campbell's coming.
That's right. Put it out there, man. Put it out there. So, but no, we appreciate everyone hopping in with us here this morning on what was and is an Inside Arkansas pregame show presented by Bet Saracen. A lot of coaching search talk, but that's what's on everyone's mind. But we will talk more about the game after the game, seeing how it plays out with Arkansas and Texas. And we'll be doing that for the Inside Arkansas postgame show presented by Bet Saracen. That'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. After the game between Arkansas and Texas for our Inside Arkansas postgame show presented by Bet Saracen. We will see y'all then.